Hey, this is David's AI avatar. The story is real, the numbers are real, and the lesson is authentic. I spent over $15,000 on Claude Code in a month at work. One security scan on our repo cost more than $875 and took almost an hour. Another investigation, same tooling, same repo access, cost me less than $30 and saved me from a mistake that would have burned a week. Same tools, same repo, nearly a 30x difference in cost, and the cheap run was the more valuable one. The difference wasn't the model, it was how each run was set up before it started. Give me 11 minutes and you'll have the exact setup rules I use now. Real dollar caps, real stop conditions, and a routing table for which model gets which work. If you run Claude Code, Codex, or any agentic workflow, this is for you. First, what the bill actually looked like, because I spent $15K on tokens, sounds like one giant run. It wasn't. Roughly 50% was goal loop runs, autonomous workflows where an agent gets a goal, explores the repo, plans, spawns sub-agents, executes, verifies, and keeps looping until it's done or hits a boundary. About 35% was interactive work, me in the loop pairing with the model, and about 15% was a background service I call AI David. It runs 24/7, reads my Slack and email, and tells me what to focus on next. That slice is basically a subscription I built for myself. The goal loop half is where the leverage lives, and where all the waste lives too. The best version of this doesn't feel like paying for text. It feels like paying to compress coordination. A complex engineering investigation normally needs context gathering, repo spelunking, planning, review, test runs, and a human keeping all of that state in their head. When agentic workflows work, the model absorbs the glue work. So, the raw token number is the wrong metric. The better metric is cost per useful workflow. What did this run produce, and was that cheaper than the human hours it replaced? For calibration, Devon, the autonomous agent product, charges about $2.25 for 15 minutes of agent work. Enterprise Claude Code averages about $13 per developer per active day. Agent labor has a market price now. The question is only whether your run bought anything. Here's the run I would not repeat. At one point, I had more than 200 agents dispatched to analyze security flaws across parts of the repo that were not even customer-facing. That sounds impressive. It's also the exact failure mode, parallelism, multiplies, ambiguity. If the task boundary is fuzzy, every extra agent doesn't add capacity. It adds more places to spend money answering questions nobody will act on. $875 for a deep security pass on production critical, customer-facing surface? Completely rational. The same spend pointed at low-risk internal code? I wasn't buying safety, I was buying the feeling of progress. Now the run that made me rethink everything, because it's the same autonomous tooling. I asked an agent to install an open source graph library and integrate it into my personal knowledge system. I even attached an AI research doc that supported the plan. Here's what the agent did before touching anything. It read the attachment and noticed the library I named appeared nowhere in it. The citations were scrambled, footnotes pointing at unrelated projects, AI-generated research with fabricated sources. Then it searched my own knowledge base and found a decision memo from 3 days earlier where we had already investigated this exact idea and concluded no go. I'd forgotten it existed. Then it compared the memo with the live code instead of trusting it and found the real problem. A 20-line gap in my retrieval layer. Not a missing graph engine. Total cost under $30. It refused to do the work I asked for. And saying no was worth more than the $875 scan. Tokens are cheap when they replace coordination and manual execution. They're expensive when they replace thinking. The $30 run spent tokens on judgment. The $875 run spent tokens instead of judgment. So, before any big run, I now ask, Which of 5 things is this buying? Learning velocity. You discover what works faster than a meeting. Heavy team could. Labor substitution. The agent does real implementation, testing, or analysis. Coordination compression. Fewer handoffs, fewer status updates, less where were we. Reusable output. Scripts, tests, docs, workflows you keep, and better decisions. Enough evidence to pick a path or kill one. The $30 run bought a better decision. The $875 run bought none of the 5. Second lever, routing. Not every task deserves the expensive path, and the price spread is bigger than most engineers think. Current list pricing. Haiku class models run about $1 per million input tokens, Sonnet class about 3, Opus class 5, and multi-agent autonomous runs burn roughly 15 times the tokens of a normal chat session. That's Anthropic's own published number, so my routing table now looks like this. Summaries, extraction, log triage, first pass exploration, cheapest tier Haiku class, or cheap sub-agents that feed summaries back, so the expensive model never sees 10,000 lines of logs. Routine implementation, bug fixes, refactors inside known patterns, mid-tier. Sonnet class handles most production coding, and for everyday work, I've found Codex with GPT 5.5 just as capable in a lot of cases without the 5-hour token limit problem. Cross-file engineering, gnarly debugging, architecture calls. That's where Opus 4.8 earns its 5x premium. An autonomous multi-agent runs, the 15x path, only for parallelizable, high-value work with a clear boundary. Anthropic themselves say, multi-agent is wrong for most coding tasks. 2 multipliers stack on top, prompt cache reads cost 10% of fresh input, and batch processing is half price. Root plus cache plus batch is how a $1,000 a day habit becomes sustainable. Third lever, and if you take one thing from this video, take this. 5 rules I now set before any autonomous run. Steal them. 1. Put the dollar cap in code, not in your head. The Claude Agent SDK takes max budget, USD, and max turns as options. One line, my defaults, $1.50 for small runs, and an explicit decision above $50. 2. Cap iterations on every headless run. Anthropic's own GitHub action defaults to 10 turns. Practitioners running big autonomous loops use around 50 as the ceiling and treat the iteration cap, not the agent saying done, as the real safety net. 3. Gate done on verification, not self-assessment. The agent finishes when tests pass and the build is green, enforced with a stop hook, not a polite instruction. An agent's self-judgment degrades as its context fills. Tests don't. 4. Set kill criteria upfront. A wall clock ceiling, mine is 3 hours, and an idle rule, no new commit in 5 iterations. Kill it. A 50 iteration loop on a large code base runs $50 to $100 plus. One team burned $297 in a single night without these. 5. The agent's last action is opening a pull request. Never a merge. Caps bound the cost. Hooks and review bound the damage. You need both, and a backstop over all of it. A monthly spend limit on the workspace itself, so no bad night can outrun the budget. Here's the counterintuitive part. Early on, I don't optimize at all. Token max early when you're still discovering which workflows matter. You're buying exploration speed and you don't know yet what good looks like. That's how the spike hit $15,000. And I do that part again. Steady state, if we keep running these workflows hard, is closer to $30,000 a month, about $1,000 a day. And at that level, the routing and caps aren't optional anymore. The mistake is optimizing token cost too early. The bigger mistake is never optimizing at all. So, was the $15,000 worth it? Parts of it, absolutely. The learning velocity was real, the reusable systems are still paying back, and the $30 run, the one that caught my own bad plan, is the proof the approach works when the boundaries are right. But token maxing without judgment is just a very expensive way to avoid prioritizing. Every resource I showed you in this video, the caps, the stop hook, the bash guard, the routing table, and the goal loop skill. It's all packaged into a free starter kit on GitHub. You'll find the link in the description. No email, no form. Copy the hooks into your repo, and your next run is already safer than my $875 one. And I'm curious, do you practice token maxing? What's your most expensive run? Shockingly worth it or completely absurd? Post the story in the comments. I may feature a few in the next video. If this was useful, like and subscribe. Everything on this channel comes from the same place: real production AI systems, real budgets, and the receipts to prove it. There's a lot more I haven't shown you yet. Subscribe, and you'll get the lessons without paying the $15,000 tuition.